joined the Mandeleo Chapchap party, and he was speaking just a few moments ago. Remember, on Thursday, Kilemi Mwiria also joined the party. He is the former assistant education assistant minister. So let's have a conversation of some politics that's happening here in the country. Joining me in studio right now is our political analyst Martin Ndati to talk to us about this latest development. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Betty.
So let's talk about Mandeleo Chapchap. How come we are having all these people, coming and joining Machakos Governor Alfred Mutua?
It's the branding. Mutua has branded the party very well, and he has created the impression that he's the best governor around. So I think people want to be associated with success. And there are issues in Jubilee, and I've said it on this show before. It was not very strategic for the Jubilee coalition to merge into one party.
Right.
And you can now see what is happening. So there will be more defections as we move closer to the election. Because those who feel they are not going to get an opportunity, they will naturally look for alternatives. So around Mount Kenya, there are people joining PNU. Some will go to Mutua's party in around Mount Kenya and Eastern. Then others will go to DP, which is led by Munyao, because DP also has roots in Mount Kenya. So you will see quite a bit of movement. But
are we likely to see Mandeleo Chapchap having a serious impact come August 8th?
They will, because look at the people defecting in Embu, because Kivuti is a sitting senator, and Kivuti is very rich. I think he's among the richest guys around that place. He's a surveyor like me. He's made serious money.
Okay.
So I know he's damn rich.
Right.
You heard him say that he's not getting into it for the money.
For money, yeah.
Then there is a deputy governor, Nditi. She's also defected. She's running for women rep. Then there is Njagagwa. Muriuki. Jagagwa has floored Muturi, current Speaker of the National Assembly, twice. So that is a very strong candidate. And that's the team that has joined Mandeleo. Then you have Kilemi Mwiria, the former president's advisor on education matters. He's also a former assistant minister for education. From Meru has also joined. So you will see many more people joining, and those are formidable candidates. And you see, they are moving with MCA aspirants. They are also going to move with other people who are seeking parliamentary seats. So that would give Mutua quite some clout,
What is his goal ultimately, Martin? Because still, he's saying that he's supporting the president, and even the new entrants say that they're supporting the president. What's the deal with him? What is his goal? What is his end game?
I think Mutua would be seeking second term. And the ground is fairly good for him. So far, the opponents are not looking very strong. There is Wavinya Ndeti running on CCU. Yeah. There is Kiala, the deputy governor, who has been, they have had issues.
Lots of issues.
And then there is Mathuki, the one who was in Yala. But those are not very formidable candidates. So I see chances of Mutua being re-elected very high. So once he's re-elected, I know he will try to work on Machakos. But if you look at Mutua's game plan, you can see this is a guy who wants to be president.
Right.
He must be angling to position. Yeah. Okay. He must be angling to position himself possibly as a presidential candidate or a running mate of a strong candidate in 2022. So all this is geared. You can see the way he has branded his party. And he will also want to take over as the Ukambani Primo. So you see, this election is now very complicated for Kalonzo. Because if he is not given the NASA ticket, yes, that puts him in a very awkward position. Because he must pray that Raila, if they are running with Raila or with Musalia, he must pray that that coalition wins. Then that will make life very hard for Mutua. But if he is not going to, if he is not given the ticket, and then, or if he is a running mate and then that coalition doesn't win, basically that might be the beginning of the end of his political career. So Mutua will try to move in and try to fill the void that Kalonzo would have created. So that's, you can see that is his game plan. And he's used media very well. He's done a few things here and there. Of course, he
things here and there.
Yeah, he harps on what he has done and makes it look like Machakos is paradise.
Okay.
But there have also been questions.
Lots of questions.
Yeah, there are issues of procurement. There are also very serious issues about the contractors. You know, contractors, quite a number of them have not been paid. Some of them for as long as 3 years in Machakos, and those issues are coming up. There are also questions about the sustainability of some of the programs. Because if you are going to pay a power bill of $500 million, when you have street lights, I don't think that is a prudent way of using resources. He would have maybe put the street lights, but then you put solar.
Solar, yes.
Yeah, so that you don't spend money paying the bills. Then you also put adverts on those electricity poles. You see, that would be a more creative way of implementing some of the ideas.
Okay.
But there are a few things he has done, like the road to Kidimani. That's a very good concept. He's also sunk quite a number of boreholes, and people now can access water, and people are very happy with that.
But
you know, the levies have also gone up.
To do.
That is what he's supposed to, but there are also governors who have received money and they have not done the same things. They have just spent the money squandering, running around. So you give him a bit of credit, but there are also questions.
There are very many questions.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about other smaller parties that are coming up. Apart from Mandeleo Chapchap, is there any other party that you're thinking is going to be, giving the big parties a run for their money in whatever level?
Kanu will be a factor in Rift Valley because you've seen quite a number of people who will feel uncomfortable in Jubilee. Those who think that William Ruto will not allow them. You know, there are people who had fallen out with William Ruto. The likes of Keter, the likes of Oscar Sudi, the likes of Zakayo Cheriot. Naturally, they will run on Kanu. The others will go to Chama cha Mashinani of Isaac Ruto. You've already seen Patrick Ndutu, who wants to buy in Narok for governor, the MP for Narok West. He's already joined Chama cha Mashinani. There is Ngeno has not indicated, but he's gravitating towards that side. So there will be quite a bit of movement. And it's not just in Jubilee areas, even in ODM strongholds. Those who feel that they will not stand a chance, they will naturally have to look for accommodation elsewhere. You've seen in Siaya, David Ochieng, the MP for Ugenya, has gone to the newly registered party.
Yes.
Yeah, the one of is owned by one of those former MPs. So there will be quite a bit of movement because once people realize, feel that they have no opportunity of getting the party ticket, then they look for parties which are closer to the coalition. But they will support the presidential candidate, but they run on a smaller ticket.
On a smaller ticket.
Yeah.
How complicated will these party nominations be, and especially for Jubilee that has already merged into one coalition with the opposition? We still are not clear on how they will be. But for a party like Jubilee, how complicated will these party nominations be?
It's not easy because they are trying to recruit people. But you know, when they had many parties, there was room for ventilation. Now, if you are bringing all the, you see, like around Mount Kenya, we had APK, the bus, which was being led by Kiraitu, and Munya was the director of elections. So some of these people you are seeing now who had joined Jubilee, they vied on APK. But now, if you put all these people in one place, and they feel they'll not get accommodation, they move out. Because like in Embu, the thinking is that the Speaker, Muturi, is supporting Cecil Mbarire. And the Speaker of the Embu County, Kariuki Mate, has been put as one of the officials of the JP party at the national level. Right. And he's in Mbarire's camp. So the people around, the ones who are working with Kivuti, feel that they will not get a fair chance. So that is why they have decided to exit. Okay. Then now when you go to Meru, Munya has his own outfit. And it's causing quite a storm because he has also indicated that he wants to be president. Whether he'll become president or not is another matter. But you see, the thinking around the formation of APK was that the Merus were feeling that the Kikuyus were subjugating them. So they wanted their own identity. And that's why they had formed APK, which was basically about the Merus and Embus and the Mberes, the people around, what they were calling Mount Kenya East. So when they dissolved the Mbas into Jubilee Party, then it left a void. So Munya came in and became the party leader of PNU. But Kilemi now has a feeling that Kiraitu was part of, Kiraitu and Noah Ekesa were the co-chairs of the steering committee which formed the Jubilee Party. So naturally, he will not expect that they will be competing on an equal footing. So he has opted to now move to Mandeleo Chapchap. Of course, when you look at the local Meru politics, the dynamics will be a bit tricky because Munya comes from Tigania East.
Right.
He ran against Kilemi, who comes from Tigania West. So, you know, they are eating into the same vote basket.
Yes.
Then now you have Kiraitu, who is coming from the Imenti side. So Kiraitu would have a bit of an edge. But when you look at Munya's history, he has always won with very small margins. From the first time when he got into politics, he vied on NAC, he lost. He took Safina, he won. He wins with very small margins.
All right.
So, and you see, one good thing about him is he's been able to hold on all his MCS across the place. Kiraitu has the MPs, Munya has the MCS. So the MCS are the grassroots operatives here. So that gives him quite an advantage. Last time he was being supported by Kiraitu because he didn't have a serious man of his. But I think he's made some money now as governor. So now the guy who comes in, Kilemi will be a very good candidate, but I think he will be disadvantaged resource-wise because Kiraitu has a war chest, Munya has a war chest, and also has the MCS. But now they split the Tigania vote. But if Munya is able to get, I'm sure he'll get a running mate from the Imenti side, then he is able to use the grassroots networks. Then it will be a very tough fight between Munya and Kiraitu. And Kilemi will come in as the weaker candidate.
So let's actually listen to something that Kilemi said when he was defecting last week. Let's just listen to that.
Represents a lot of what I believe in. Believes in peace, in development, issue-based politics, inclusiveness. It's not a tribal party. And the best example is that Mutua himself has decided to, take the bullet, coming from Ukambani to form a party that does not go along with what people would expect in Ukambani. So the main thing is, there are problems in the party organization in Meru that make me feel that I would not have a good chance. I would not have a fair chance to compete. But fortunately, I am going to a political party that makes me, happy that, even if I'm not in Jubilee.
All right.
Yes.
So that was yesterday during our show on Sunday night's Checkpoint. So Martin, you're saying that Kilemi does not have the war chest that he needs to fight all these other people out.
He doesn't. He is, resource-wise, is the weaker candidate, monetary-wise, because Kiraitu made some good money when he was minister for energy. And he has also been the king of Meru. But Munya has been coming up, and he'll be very formidable, I can tell you. But the dynamics favor Kiraitu vis-a-vis Munya, because that's where the main war will be fought. But you can still not write Kilemi off. Of course, last time Kilemi was funded by, he was on TNA. So the TNA side funded him. But now with Mandeleo Chapchap, I don't think Mutua has resources to go funding candidates around. But he'll put up a fight. But in terms of credentials, he also has very solid credentials. From the days when, there are the people who started agitating. He was part of the team which was fighting for the union, for the university academic staff union. Yeah, then Professor Shwan, the late, kicked him out. Then he went out there, came back. Then during the NAC elections, he became an MP, then he became an assistant minister. He is very solid, academic-wise and intellectual-wise.
He's solid,
but in terms of resources, monetary-wise, I don't think he will be very formidable. But, he lost to Munya last elections with less than 3,000 votes.
Okay.
Yeah, but you see, that time, they had some informal MOU that the Tiganias will take governor, then the Imentis take senator.
All right.
Now, you have two Tiganias running from neighboring constituencies. Then you have now Kiraitu, who is an Imenti, running. So you see that poses a bit of a challenge for them. Of course, they have, Kiraitu has what they are calling Kikali, which includes Linturi, who is going for senator. Then the current women rep, Kajuju, who is also part of that team. Okay. But I think now Kiraitu is also going, Kilemi is also going to form his own team. And I think Munya is also trying to craft a lineup which will be able to try and counter this one here. He must pick a running mate from the men's side and see where to pick the women rep so that there is sharing of the slots, and that gives him an opportunity to be able to pick numbers across the county. All right. Yeah.
Let's expand the conversation to the rally in Bomet on Saturday. Yeah. It was the first rally after, you know, the court was able to, or the opposition was able to come up with the technical team, you know, what they call the strategic team. What do you think of the kind of organization that they seemingly have right now?
In terms of strategy, I will not have advised them to go back to Bomet. They were in Bomet. You remember we were on this show discussing?
Yes, yes.
Hardly 1.5 months ago, when Isaac Ruto came back from the treatment in, South Africa. So what strategic value do you get by going back to the same place? And in my own opinion, it would have made more sense. Some of the resources they are deploying in those rallies, they would have used that money to get people to register. Because the numbers in the court strongholds are not looking very good. The Jubilee numbers are, the turnout is not as massive as they expected, but the numbers are good, very good. Kiambu is almost hitting a million votes. So Kiambu alone would have enough, the Kiambu numbers would actually cancel out the numbers of Kakamega, Vihiga, and Busia combined. You have one county cancelling out 3. So if you are spending, because they spend money to mobilize the people to attend up for the rally, you spend money on the choppers. Why not deploy some of those resources to pay volunteers in the stronghold so that they literally have to get people out to go and register the way Jubilee is doing in their strongholds? Because to me that would have made more sense. So it's good in terms of the hype. But you see, Isaac Ruto is playing smart. He repeatedly said that he's not joined NASA. So what game is he playing? He could be using NASA to twist Jubilee into withdrawing Joyce Laboso and Julius Konez, who are supposed to run against him. Kanu has also been playing mind games because they send Isaac Ruto, they send Nick Salat to attend those rallies. But the owners of Kanu, they are insisting they are supporting President Uhuru. So they are playing some mind games because Nick Salat goes there. Nick Salat is not among the owners of Kanu. The owners of Kanu is Mzee Moi, Gideon, Zipporah Kitonyi, and Akina Lenyangapu. And they have said it. They are going to support President Uhuru's re-election. So they will not join NASA. So it poses a challenge because, and when Wetangula said something very interesting. When they were campaigning in 2013, they had very huge crowds, even in Bomet. But when the numbers were finally in, there were no numbers. So the Kipsigis could be sending out a very strong message. And I think Isaac Ruto wants to be very cautious because the people would want to re-elect him as governor. But the moment he comes out and looks like he's going against the tribal interests, which are largely in Jubilee, then that will pose a problem for him.
But isn't he doing that already?
No, but you see, he has been criticizing NASA. Jubilee, but at the same time, he's not coming out and saying he's joining NASA. Yeah, he is sitting with them, he hosts them, but he has not had the courage to say that he's joining NASA. So you see that poses a dilemma, because he should have had the courage to say that he has crossed over.
So is NASA really then a reality already, or is it still...
NASA is a reality, is here, but there are still issues. You know, when you look at the real dynamics, who is going to be the presidential candidate? Because they tried to play around with the protocol on Saturday and got changed the way they normally speak. But you saw Raila in Bomet, in Narok. The way Raila is running around, I don't think a guy would run around like that who is going to endorse anybody. 2, he says he has more numbers than anybody else, which is true. Then you see Kalonzo is playing hardball because he says they must support him. And him is not talking about Musalia. He's talking about Wetangula and Raila.
Okay.
So basically he's going back to the MOU of 2013, where they had agreed that Raila will be one term. Then he supports Kalonzo as the candidate, deputized by Wetangula. So he is, and you see, for once, he's very aggressive. He's been in Kisii, he was in Kajiado, he's all over.
And he's all over the place, but like you mentioned, the numbers really, when it comes to the people who've registered already, are not really, you know, the kind of targets or the kind of numbers they were expecting, or even IEBC was expecting. What is the problem really? Because he's been all over the country.
People are disillusioned with both sides of the political divide. Yeah, Jubilee has mismanaged this economy. That is the truth. The numbers from the Kenya Bureau of Statistics are talking of a growth rate of 6%. But the ordinary masses are poorer than they were in 2013. So even if you tell us the numbers, people are, the Kenya Bureau of Statistics is telling us that the economy is growing. But it's growing for who? For the guys who are making commissions from SGR, from the guys who are making commissions from pipeline, from the guys who are making money from the large infrastructure projects. But the ordinary Mwananchi has no money in the pocket. Look at the Nairobi Stock Exchange. The index is lower than it was in 2007, 2008 when we were fighting. You know, that is a major barometer. If the economy is doing well, the index should really be going up. It is at its lowest. Look at the copycat strikes. The doctors are still on strike. The nurses have been on strike. The university employees the lecturers are threatening to go on strike. So the nurses were on strike the other day. Because the purchasing power has basically been eroded. Bread was going for 23 shillings when Kibaki left. It is now at 50 shillings. 50. Milk was going for 25, 24. It is now at 55. So, and the salaries are more or less stagnant, you know. So whatever little increments people have been given have been wiped away by the cost of living. So much as you will tell us that the economy is growing, the ordinary Mwananchi out there is much poorer. Look at the media houses. You guys are retrenching. Every other media house is retrenching. And you will not be retrenching if you are making money. The banks are retrenching. Factories are closing. There are others coming in, like Pujo came in the other day. But we had Everett closing, we had Samia closing, all these issues. So they are pointing to there are problems here. And much as a few people could be making money and spurring the growth of the economy, the rest of the masses and most of the Kenyans, look at the auctioneers' pages in the newspapers. It tells you that people are unable to service the loans. So that tells you that the trickle down is not being felt. So Kenyans are poorer, and the gap between the rich and poor is also very wide. Okay, Martin. Interesting views there, interesting views. We could go on and on and on about this very important conversation. Thank you for your time. We'll see you again later on this week. That's Martin Ndati. He's a political analyst talking to us about the events that were taking place over the weekend politically, and also this the season of defections. Lenny Kivuti